The Second Council of Constantinople is the fifth of the first 7 ecumenical councils recognized as such by both Western Christianity and Eastern Christianity. Eastern Orthodox, Roman Catholics and Old Catholics unanimously recognize it. Protestant opinions and recognition of it are varied. Some Protestants, such as Calvinists and Lutherans, recognize the first 4 councils, whereas most High Church Anglicans accept all 7. Constantinople II was convoked by the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I under the presidency of Patriarch Eutychius of Constantinople. It was held from the 5th of May to the 2nd of June 553. Participants were overwhelmingly Eastern bishops. Only 16 Western bishops were present, including 9 from Illyricum and 7 from Africa, but none from Italy out of the 152 total. The main work of the council was to confirm the condemnation issued by edict in 551 by the Emperor Justinian against the 3 chapters. These were the Christological writings and ultimately the person of Theodore of Mopsuestia. Certain writings against Cyril of Alexandria's 12 anathemas accepted at the Council of Ephesus, written by Theodore of Cyrus, and a letter written against Cyrilianism and the Ephesian Council by Ibias of Edessa. The purpose of the condemnation was to make plain that the Catholic Church, which followed a Chalcedonian creed, was firmly opposed to Nestorianism as supported by the Antiochene school, which had either assisted Nestorius, the eponymous heresiarch, or had inspired the teaching for which he was anathematized and exiled. The council also condemned the teaching that the Virgin Mary could not be rightly called the Mother of God but only the Mother of the Man of the Mother of Christ. Justinian hoped that this would contribute to a reunion between the Chalcedonians and Monophysites in the eastern provinces of the empire. Various attempts at reconciliation between these parties within the Byzantine Empire were made by many emperors over the 4 centuries following the Council of Ephesus, none of them successful. Some attempts at reconciliation, such as this one, the condemnation of the 3 chapters and the unprecedented posthumous anathematization of Theodore, who had once been widely esteemed as a pillar of orthodoxy, causing further schisms and heresies to arise in the process, such as the aforementioned schism of the 3 chapters and the emergent semi-monophysite compromises of monoenergism and monothelitism. These propositions assert, respectively, that Christ possessed no human energy but only a divine function, a principle of operation, and that Christ possessed no human will but only a divine will, will being understood to mean the desires and appetites in accord with the nature. Proceedings. The council was presided over by Eutychius, Patriarch of Constantinople, assisted by the other 3 Eastern Patriarchs or the representatives. Pope Vigilius was also invited, but even though he was at this period resident in Constantinople, he declined to attend, and even issued a document forbidding the council from proceeding without him. For more details see Pope Vigilius. The council, however, proceeded without the Pope to condemn the 3 chapters, and during the 7th session of the council, the bishops had Vigilius stricken from the diptychs for his refusal to appear at the council and approve its proceedings, effectively excommunicating him personally but not the rest of the Western Church. Vigilius was then imprisoned in Constantinople by the emperor and his advisors were exiled. After 6 months, in December 553, he agreed, however, to condemn the 3 chapters, claiming that his hesitation was due to being misled by his advisors. His approval of the council was expressed in 2 documents condemning the 3 chapters, on his own authority and without mention of the council. In northern Italy, the ecclesiastical provinces of Milan and Aquileia broke communion with Rome. Milan accepted the condemnation only toward the end of the 6th century, whereas Aquileia did not do so until about 700. The rest of the Western Church accepted the decrees of the Council, though without great enthusiasm. Though ranked as one of the ecumenical councils, it never attained in the West the status of either Nicaea or Chalcedon. In Visigothic Spain, the churches never accepted the council. When news of the later Third Council of Constantinople was communicated to them by Rome, it was received as the Fifth Ecumenical Council, not the Sixth. Isidore of Seville, in his Chronicle and of Iris Illustribus, judged Justinian a tyrant and persecutor of the Orthodox and an admirer of heresy, contrasting him with Facundus of Hermion and Victor of Tarnuna, who was considered a martyr. The unhappy story of the conflict between the Council and the Pope, and its lack of immediate and obvious fruits in reconciling Chalcedonians and non-Chalcedonians, should not blind us, however, to its weighty theological contribution. The canons condemning the 3 chapters were preceded by 10 dogmatic canons which defined Chalcedonian Christology with a new precision, bringing out that God the Word is the one subject of all the operations of Christ, divine and human. The 2 natures defined at Chalcedon were now clearly interpreted as 2 sets of attributes possessed by a single person, Christ God, the second person of the Trinity. Later Byzantine Christology, as found in Maximus the Confessor and John of Damascus, was built upon this basis. It might have proved sufficient, moreover, to bring about the reunion of Chalcedonians and non-Chalcedonians, had it not been from the severance of connections between the 2 groups that resulted from the Muslim conquests of the next century. Acts. The original Greek Acts of the Council are lost, but an Old Latin version exists, possibly made for Vigilius, of which there is a critical edition and of which there is now an English translation and commentary. It was alleged that the original Acts of the Fifth Council had been tampered with in favor of monothelitism. It used to be argued that the extant Acts are incomplete, since they make no mention of the debate over Origenism. However, the solution generally accepted today is that the bishops signed the canons condemning Origenism before the council formally opened. This condemnation was confirmed by Pope Vigilius, and the subsequent ecumenical council gave its assent in its definition of faith to the 5 previous synods, including the last, that is the 5th Holy Synod assembled in this place, against Theodore of Mopsuestia, Origen, Didymus, and Evagrius. Its full conciliar authority has only been questioned in modern times. Bibliography. Heron, Judith. The Formation of Christendom, Revised, Illustrated Paperback Edition. London, Princeton University Press and Fontana. Price, Richard. The Acts of the Council of Constantinople of 553 to 2-volume set, with related texts on the 3 chapters. Controversy. Liverpool, Liverpool University Press. pp. 270 to 286. ISBN 9781846311789. Heffler, Karl Joseph von. A History of the Councils of the Church, to the Close of the Council of Nicaea, A.D. 325, 2. Translated and edited by Edward Hayes Plumtree, Henry Nutcombe Oxnam, William Robinson Clark. Charleston, South Carolina, USA, Nabu Press. ISBN 9781293808021.